Well, hey friends, and welcome back. So today we are going to be building one of my favorite little power product things. Now I know that you may be thinking, I thought you said that the fourplex outlet was your favorite thing, but it is. But here is another esoteric piece out of the Leviton catalog. This is called a ruggedized pendant box. And it is designed to provide outlets to very, very harsh environments. So this is really, really cool. So this is the extra deep box. It comes with this little NPT cable gland right here. So today we got an order for one of these, so I figured that I would build it on camera. If you'd like to buy one, just check the link below. So what we do with these is you can load these with whatever outlet you want. Throw that in the garbage, aka the floor. So you can load this with whatever outlet you want. So on our little dusty there, on our website, you can actually you can configure this however you want. So this is just a regular Decora punch. So this one has a USB-C and USB-A. On the website configurator, you can get the, it's not even a word, you can get just a regular duplex outlet in the 20 amp flavor. You can get two USB-As, two USB-Cs, or this one, which is the combination of the USB-A and USB-C. So this goes in this box, just like this. We'll have to cut it down, just the little strap here that holds these in to get it to go. And then it has these cool little waterproof doors that you can put on here, which are pretty cool. So Leviton makes a variety of these little adapter pieces. So you can get it so that the outlets are exposed all the time. But I like these little waterproof doors, which I think are pretty cool. So they have this little neoprene backer right here. And then it has just a spring-loaded piece that goes like that. And then this just goes into here, just like this. So if you're using these as a stage power, you can just plug this in, and if it's on the edge of the stage or something like that, you can have stuff plugged in on one end, and then this one's sealed off on the other. So if you kick it, or if it starts to rain or anything like that, I have certainly gaff taped my my fair share of outlets when it starts to rain. So this is a cool, albeit very expensive version to do that. So anyway, let's get started. Now we can get started. All right, so the first thing that we're going to do here is we're going to break these little clips off. So the best way to do that is just using a lineman's tool. They come right off. And then this still needs to be cut down just a little bit. So what we'll do to do that is we'll use the blade portion of the lineman's tool, which, again, if you're looking for a desert island tool, the lineman's tool is pretty awesome. So generally with these, they won't cut. Yeah, I hear my knuckles crack doing this. So what I like to do is just cut this from both sides like this, and then once you have a score mark in here, you can take your lineman's tool and just bring it right up to that score mark and just twist it. Sometimes this one we might have to cut one more time. This is these outlets are pretty expensive, actually. The double USB-C one is like 55 bucks. So if you break that little strap off, the little mounting strap, that would not be good. So be careful when you do this. I do have a proper shear in the back outside of my shop, but you might be asking yourself, hey Billy, why don't you just use that? And the answer, of course, is I'm lazy. There we go. Cool. So once you break that off, it'll sit in that hole just like that, and it does. Cool. So we'll do this to the other side. Okay. And there you go. Okay, so what I'm looking for now here is once this is in here, I know how much space I have. There's actually a little injection molded ring right here that you can see that basically shows you how much depth you have to play with. So with these outlets, because they're designed for residential applications, you can run a ring terminal for the ground screw. But these ones are just designed, your hot and your neutral on each side are just designed for a wire to go in. So what I like to do with these is I'm going to run a Wago in here to splice everything from our supply line. So before I do that, I just wanted to make sure that I had enough depth to accommodate that splicing. And that way, if we want to change outlets or something like that, it's not going to be crazy. So for the magic of TV editing, here you saw me how I did that. I'm just going to I'm going to cut this strap down on this one, and then we'll get this loaded in the box. All right. So the first thing that I'm going to do here is going to terminate our ground screw for each of them. So I'm just making myself these little tails. So I like to keep bins of scrap cable around here. So you always need little tails. So, first of all, you can recycle these and get money for scrap copper. And then also when you need to do these little projects like this, you don't have to cut little 3-inch lengths of cable off of your reel. So I'm just going to make these little tails like this. And then we'll take a ring terminal on the ground here and we'll crimp it. Okay, here's one. So the cool thing about these Klein crimpers like this is it's actually set so that once you reach the proper torque on this, it won't release until you do. So you pretty much have a good crimp every single time. Granted, I will still always pull on everything just to make sure that it's good, but it is a cool feature of buying that particular tool. And it's only like 30 bucks. So I'll just pop the ground screw out of each one of these. We'll just put our ground in. Okay, there's one. Okay, and there's our second one. Now we've got this in our hand. Again, just pillaging through the scrap wire bin. I've got this red wire left over from a 3-phase distro that I just built. So, when you're doing these kind of things and you are using scrap wire, you do have to make sure that you're following regular code as far as color goes. So, red and blue are both hot lines, red, blue, and black. In residential applications, a red wire would be your traveler wire for a 3-way switch, but in industrial applications, usually red means it's a hot and it's a phase, X, Y, or Z. So what I'm going to do with these, and God, I have this awful hard wire, white wire for neutrals left over. This was a COVID purchase that I couldn't get twisted thin wire, and I had to use this solid core wire because that's all my distributor had, and it was a rare gig that we got during COVID, and I feel like even now in 2023 I'm still dealing with this, which I absolutely loathe. But alas, well, should probably not be an idiot and strip these on both sides. Now with this, we could probably just use the natural 2 entry points on each one of these screw terminals to malt the outlets together, but again, I try not to do that. I would rather make the malt with a splice connector. That way, if you want to change the outlet out over time, you can. And then the other thing is, I'm always just terrified with any of these kind of terminals that I can't put a a ring connector on that they're going to come undone. I don't like that. And I feel like sometimes when I've built distros and things like that, when you have to, when there's not enough real estate in there and you're using a duplex outlet as a mult between a couple of them, I've had wire come undone out of there before, even if you're making sure, like I'm doing right now, that it's seated in there. But once you pack a distro full of wire or anything like that, one of the difference between the electrical work that I do, which is touring stuff, anything that we build here at LM is pretty much guaranteed that it's going on the road. So we definitely take a lot of extra care. We take a lot of extra care in terms of how we splice things, and how we wire things in general that an average electrician might not do, just because it's sort of assumed that it's going to, bounce around in the back of a truck and then go to a venue and get used. So, those are obviously things that the average electrician isn't going to have to worry about. So, if you're watching this video and you're an average electrician, you might look at me and be like, first of all, you're not an electrician. Correct, I'm not. And then the other thing is, like, why do you go through using a ring terminal instead of just looping the wire around and stuff like that? Well, that's why, because it's going to be bounced around, and the hard use pendant is almost guaranteed going to be thrown, and it's never going to live a pampered life of being in a fixed installation. So anyway, let's get our supply line wired in there. Yikes. So I just cut myself off 25 feet of SO to do this, and it is the last 25 feet on my spindle, so this stuff is pretty tight. I'm going to have to definitely zip tie this to retrain the wire. The little spindles that we have are, they're aluminum, and they have a pretty thin little inner portion of it. So when you get the last little bit of wire, I feel like I always have scraps of wire just hanging, or on different places here in the shop, just to kind of get some of the cable memory out of them when they get real close to the end. But it's perfectly good cable. There isn't anything wrong with it. It just is doesn't wrap very nice when you get that low without it being trained. So when I build large runs of extension cords and stuff like that, I try to put those in the back so that they can have the most time with zip ties around them in our normal way that we package stuff here. So it will wrap nicely for you, though it may not wrap nicely for me when we are building it. Okay. So before we strip this, we'll get this fed in here like this. And then I am just going to tighten this cable gland here and use my belly to prevent it. See, it's tactical belly. I always joke in some of these videos how I keep a tactical thumbnail and a tactical pinky nail for splitting cable pairs and stuff like that apart, but now I have a tactical belly. It just makes sense. It's just science. All right, so I'm going to strip this back. Here's our neutral, our hot, our ground. So the cool thing is, because this is a rubberized box, you don't have to ground the box because it's rubber. Just give these guys a little twist. Then I grab. So in case you missed it, I just built a 12-channel snake on camera, and one of the things about that particular project is I ran out of heat shrink 2 different times. It's very small, 3/16" heat shrink, and I didn't have enough on the reel because it's not a very common size for us. And then I usually keep these little multi-boxes that, as much as I try to not patronize Amazon because I feel like they're taking over the world, they do have these cool little kits like this that are little lifesavers. So I usually buy these kits like this, and then once I find sizes that I like, I just buy that connector in bulk. So if you're new to electrical projects or you're looking for something like this, I would encourage you to buy these multi-kits like this because they have one of kind of every size. And then if you run out of something, you can save your butt, which is what I call them, little save your butt boxes. So I've got my Wagos terminated on here. These are the lever ones. I like these ones a lot. I have the push in, for lack of a better term, the Chinese finger trap ones. I have those, but I do like these, the lever ones. They're really strong. I mean, I'm yanking on that thing. You can't get it out. But if you do want to change these outlets out to something else, you can do that really quick. And I just like that it's sort of field replaceable. So we will load our first outlet in here like this. And it's a little tight because I have that ring terminal on the other end, but it'll sit in there okay. So they do come with these cool little stainless steel screws. Should probably get a trash can in here. Just throw everything on the floor. I can feel my mom watching these videos saying, I raised you better than that. It's like you're raised in a barn. Okay, so we're good to go on that. So this is always the fun one when the secondary one comes into play. So we'll patch our neutral here. Sorry, I always say this stuff like I'm a sound guy because I am, but I'm sure any electrician watching these is going to laugh at all of my nomenclature for things. I'm going to patch this cable. Okay, so our neutral, our hot, our neutral, our ground, and here's our hot. Okay, so before we get this other outlet installed, patch our ground here. Again, patch. We're going to wire our ground. There's our ground. Here's our neutral. Actually, I went to Home Depot today to get some stuff, and I noticed that they do carry these Wagos now, and in the electrical aisle in Home Depot, which I thought was pretty cool. So in case if you're wondering where you buy these connectors, you can get them at Home Depot now. Okay, so we'll just give these guys a little twist. So if you notice, I did try to make these wires sort of different lengths so that they'll pack in there a little bit easier. Give that a little twist and shove it in. Sometimes when you look in boxes, it's like, my God, did they pack stuff in there? So I like to at least give the illusion that if somebody opens any of my projects, they're like, oh, Billy cared a little bit. It's not a complete and total mess of spaghetti in there. Oh, shoot. I just noticed I didn't order the ones with the ones in the four corners. Hold on. Gotta pop these guys out again. All right. Learn from my mistakes here. This is real, Nobody sponsors me for any of these kind of things. I just do these YouTube videos because they're fun for me. And I always enjoy the conversation that I get with talking to you guys. So, you're learning right there with me on a lot of these things. Okay, so here's both sides of our box. There's this side and this side. What do you know? They're exactly the same. All right, so we're just going to tighten down our cable gland here. And then we are going to just terminate this with an Edison connector. Okay, so now that we wrestled the snake from hell here and got this basically back in its relatively okay wrap shape, I'm going to really zip tie this pretty hard just so that it can sit and relax before we send this off to the customer. Like I said, the end of the barrel here. So, to finish this cable up, we are going to put the prerequisite 4.5-inch piece of clear heat shrink on here, which is standard for all of the LM cables. This will be the LM Tor Systems logo because ABB, always be branding. So to terminate this, I like these Lexlock connectors. These are so awesome. If you build a lot of cables, these are pretty much the best Edison connector you are going to work with. And I will show you why here in a second. You know, so we buy these in mega bulk. They're really awesome. I use them for everything. So any power cable that you get from LM, it's going to have a Lex Edison connector on them. You know, I feel like in my own just little bit of weirdness. Oh, also, I should say before I continue to ramble on here, they do come with a little cord reduction size piece in here. The best way to pop this out is to use a pair of flush cutters here. They pop right out. I mean, again, these are tricks that I'm showing you because we build a lot of cable here, and anything that you can possibly do to expedite that process is always welcomed. You know, there's a lot of competition in the cable world, so you know you have to make them fast. That's the only way that you can make a profit on building cables in the year of our Lord 2023. So again, just pop this back. I mean, again, I assume that if you're watching this video, you guys know how to do this part, but hey, maybe it's 4 in the morning and you can't sleep. That's usually when I watch videos like this. So we'll take these, and I usually use my thumb as a guide for a lot of this stuff, so I usually will cut the jacketing back a little bit long. And again, into the recycling bin with you guys. Cut those back, strip them. Oh, my Lex tangent. That's what I was on before I interrupted myself. These connectors are really awesome. I would highly encourage you that if you're building a bunch of cords to do it, and here's why. This right here. So all you have to do, you just have to open these little doors like this, and you just stick your cable in and call it a day. You don't have to goof around with trying to hold your wire in there with a screwdriver, and you know the little plastic flanges on Leviton and Hubble, they always kind of overlap with the screw terminal, and it's always just sort of a pain. So you know, once you get this in here, I kind of just like to give it a little tug like that, and then we'll bring this guy up. And another cool thing about this connector, it's a very distinct line here as to the back portion of it. So as you're building multiple extension cords, like we usually do, we usually build extension cords in lots of 20 because we include them with so many cases, and then we also sell them on our web store. So if you want to buy an LM extension cord, just click the link. I think they're cool. Are they vastly different from normal extension cords? No, not at all. They're extension cords. But they're made by us here at LM, so, you know, I'm biased. And just think, normal people who build these kind of things probably have like a super clean desk. Like, I give you the messy desk guarantee. If you're buying a cable from us, it was built on a messy desk. Okay. So once this is terminated, I do like to make it, I mean, again, this is me just being OCD. I do like to make it so that the ground pin, the screws are on the bottom. Does that matter? No, not at all. Does it help me sleep better at night? Yes, it does. So, and now we will start what I like to think is the best part of any Billy video, and it is called your daily heat shrink moment. Okay, so the last step with building this particular cable is we just add our LM Tour Systems Velcro tie because, again, ABB, always be branding. Okay, so there we go. There's our finished cable. If you have any questions about it, you can just drop a comment below. I do read all of those comments and will reply to you the best I can. I would ask you that if you are leaving a comment, just be nice. There are a lot of very grumpy armchair quarterbacks on a lot of my videos lately. I'm a nice guy. Would expect you guys to be nice too, so just be nice to each other. Anyway, if you have any questions, let me know. Drop a comment below, and thanks for stopping by. Oh, I forgot to tell you, if you do want to buy this cable, check the link in the description. You can buy it from me. Anyway, thanks. Bye.